Hey, Marketing Acuity friends. So I wanted to tell you about three really critical things that we see businesses make this mistake all the time when they get started. We want to make sure you don't make the same mistake. Number one, your URL. If your business URL doesn't say what you do in the name, you need to get a different URL. And when you're first starting out, it's really important to do that. So a lot of business owners will pick the name of their business, and that's great if your business is something like Marketing Acuity, which is definitely about marketing and certainly about being smart, because that's what the word acuity means. Maybe Championship Regatta Graphics as well, which is, of course, Championship Regatta Graphics. If you have those kinds of business names and you've named your URL that type of thing, then you're in great shape. But if you say run a bakery and your business name doesn't have anything to do with baking things, people are going to have a really hard time finding you. And even all of your efforts in search engine optimization are going to be difficult because your URL doesn't say what it is that you do when people search for it. There's some real value in that. The second piece is that you need to make sure that that URL is secure. What I mean by that is that the business owner needs to have the account information, login and password, and it needs to be in their name. There's nothing worse than 5 years down the road discovering that your intern 3 interns ago is the person who registered that, and now GoDaddy requires two-factor authentication, and guess what? The phone number on that account is the intern's phone number. That is horrible. It is extremely difficult to get those things, the control of that rest. And I've had to call people who have left organizations 5-6 years ago and say, hey, I'm really sorry to bug you, but yours is the phone number on the account, and we can't get into this to make this change unless we have your permission. So don't do that. Make sure that you have this secured. And when you do your registration, register for 1 or 2 years only. Those 5-year registrations get every business owner in trouble. Credit card numbers change every year. Expiration dates change, addresses change, phone numbers change, and if you don't have that information at the ready and you're not renewing that, you could lose control of your whole URL if you're not careful. On the subject of URLs, those things that come in the mail that say Domain Registry USA, register your domain name now or re-register it before you lose control, don't answer them. It's junk mail. Rip it in half, stick it in the recycling bin. No one will ever send you a notice in the mail about your URL. It just doesn't happen. You have online accounts for that, whether it's at GoDaddy, Network Solutions, or MyDomain, or any one of a number of domain providers. Your account information will be the digital information that you log into. So make sure you are secured with that information, that the business owner knows where that is, and it's maintained annually. It's absolutely critical. We have to help clients untangle this so often. It's really, really critical. If you have more than one owner in the business, you need to make sure that both owners' names are on it and both owners' contact information is on it. And believe me, we've had to help some clients through some pretty tough, sticky business situations where they've had to separate their business. I've done it for myself. I've done it for others. It's not easy. There's a lot of sticky wickets, but if you lose control of your URL, you could be in trouble. So that's the first most important thing. Well, number one and number two, make sure you have a good URL and make sure you secure it. Now, the third most important thing that a lot of entrepreneurs make this big mistake on is they don't have a way to collect customer information initially right off the bat. When you first start your business, you're not thinking about how you're going to be managing all those customers because you have like 5 customers or 10 customers or 100 customers. But you need a way to collect that information, and we call that customer relationship management, or CRM. Now, there's tons of CRM systems: Pipedrive, Zoho, Excel, HubSpot. There's tons of them out there, tons of them. And all of them have great features. Some of them, many of them are free, like HubSpot's free, for example. Pipedrive is free. There's a bunch of other ones. Those tools work if you connect them to your website and your commerce system and you pull in information. But if you don't have one set up and you want to do it 2 or 3 years from now, you might be trying to harvest information from sources that you can't even find for customers that might not even be updated or exist anymore. So it's really important to set your business up early on with a customer relationship management system, even if you think you will never email your customers. Now, we'll talk about why you need to email your customers on a regular basis, because it's really the only thing that you own. A saleable business asset is a customer list. You don't own the people on Facebook. You don't own the people on Pinterest. You don't own the people on Instagram. The only business asset that you really have that you absolutely own is that customer list. And that customer list allows you to do a lot with it. It's a sellable business asset. Now, yes, it's important to have followers on social media, but if you lose your account, if you get banned by Facebook, if your competitors cause you to be banned on Facebook or Instagram, and this happens all the time, you need to be able to let your customers know, hey, something happened, we're over here now, or we're doing this, or we're really sorry, or whatever the case might be. You have access to that information, and you have access to all of your customers. Those are really, really important things. So number one, a good URL. Number two, make sure you have that URL secured and the owner has that information. And number three, make sure that you have a great CRM system to start off your business. These are things that I see customers making mistakes all the time. And I've been in this business since well before technology even impacted all of this. But these are the three critical things that I see all the time that are really hard to untangle, and they're expensive and difficult and messy. You don't want expensive, difficult, or messy in your business, especially when you're paying third-party organizations to help you. On that note, if you're paying a web developer to help you with their website, make sure they don't register that URL in their name. If they do have it in their account, and we do this for some clients as a service, make sure you are the administrative contact and make sure you check on that. Make sure you have the login information and make sure the recovery phone number is yours, not your web developer's. That's another big no-no. Your web developer can always call you on the phone and say, hey, authorize this for me. If they need to, yeah, it's a little bit of a pain, but they can do it. But it needs to be your account information. So those are my 3 tips. Go forth and conquer.